Alright guys, so this is the final assignment for chapter 10. This is student work 33. I'm going to do it as if I were a student. And I'm going to use DocHub. Alright, it's got my name. I don't need to put my name or anything up here. Question 1, the buying and selling of government securities by the Fed, like what is it known as? Or where is it done rather? And it's only done in one place, and that is the Open Market Committee. Or Open Market Operations, I'm sorry. All right. Next question. 2, if a bank borrows money from the Fed, the interest rate charged by the Fed, what's it called? Okay. It's not just called interest rate, it's called a discount rate. Question 3, if a bank borrows money from another bank rather than from the Fed, which they can do, the interest rate charged by the second bank is called what? And that's called the federal funds rate. Okay, boom. All right, question 4. What's the difference, or what difference does it make if a bank borrows from another bank, paying the federal funds rate, or from the Fed, paying the discount rate? Well, the answer is this. So, if banks borrow, right, from each other, then no new money is created because they're just shifting money from one bank's vault to another bank's vault. Okay. However, if a bank borrows money, I'm sorry, I cannot type right now. All right, if a bank borrows from the Fed, right? The Fed creates new money in the process of granting the loan. And the reason why is, remember on the last assignment that you did, we did the whole exercise where like you began with $1,000 deposit, then they have to keep 10%, then the $900 they lent out. That's the same thing as what's happening when the Fed gives a grant or loans out money, right, to the banks. Where when the banks loan it out to each other, it's not their money, it's just a movement of the money. When the Fed does it, it's new money that's created. Okay. Question 5, where does the Fed get the money to make an open market purchase? All right, so let's make my little box here. So how we answer this is we say that the Fed, you have to capitalize the F because it's a proper noun. So the Fed gets the money for the, oops, hold on, gets the money for an open market purchase. Essentially out of thin air. Now, what does that really mean? Do they really get it out of thin air? No, the answer isn't they don't get it really out of thin air, but they can print their own money, right? The Fed is the only entity that can do that. So if they need $1 billion or $1 trillion or whatever, they just call up the Bureau of Engraving and say, hi, we need you to print off this amount of money. So that's where they get it. Now I say it like facetiously out of thin air because they're not pulling it from an institution, right? They're just putting in an amount that they want printed at the Bureau of Engraving, and the Bureau of Engraving starts the printers, and they just print this money off. Okay, so the other part of this is that the Fed, they can increase the balance in its account just by writing in a new balance. Like you and I can't do that. The banks can't do that either. But again, the Fed is a different entity, and the reason why is because they control the money supply. They can literally just have it printed. It's a weird thing, but it works. Remember though, if they print too much of it, or they order the printing of too much of it, it would create inflation. So that's a bad thing. 6, what happens to the money the Fed receives from an open market sale? So the Fed, it removes that money from the economy. Oops. Okay. The Fed, it has the power to make money disappear. And again, I'm not being like, it doesn't like literally disappear, but like when money is spent to buy these securities, right? so you have to pay cash. They take that cash and they can do whatever they want with it. They can shred it and turn it into compost. They can burn it. They can do whatever they want with it. Okay. The thing of it is it's out of the economy, and that's what's important. All right. The last question here is asking, what are the 3 tools that the Fed can use to influence the money supply? So it says in the following table, list the 3 tools and then explain how the Fed uses each tool to increase or decrease the money supply. All right, so the first thing we have to do is list the tools, okay? And the nice thing is there's only 3. So first is reserve requirement. The second one is the open market operations. And then the last one is the discount rate. All right, so if they want to increase the money supply, what can they do to the reserve requirements, right? Well, like, obviously, this is the amount of money that you have to keep, so they can just lower it. Oops. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so currently the reserve requirement in the United States is 10%. They could change that to 9%, 9.5%, 5%, 0%. That's up to them. They can do what they want with it. If they want to do the opposite, if the Fed wants to decrease the money supply, then what they have to do is raise the reserve requirements. And this is a word I haven't used in a while, but like there's an inverse relationship, right? Increase, they have to lower. Decrease, they have to raise. All right. What about in the open markets operations? So they purchase securities in the OM in the open market. Okay. What to do? So if they want to increase the amount of money that's going out into circulation, they buy securities. Okay. Remember, securities are debt, federal debt, but. And then what do you do if you want to decrease the money supply? Well, then you would not buy, okay, you would sell. So you sell securities in the open market. And what that means is people are giving you, the Fed rather, they're giving the Fed money, right? And in return, the federal government is giving them a piece of paper that says this is a security. It's an IOU essentially, okay? The discount rate, all right. If you had to do this up here, right, lower to change based on reserve requirement, you do the same thing for the discount rate. So they have to lower the discount rate. And when I say they, what I mean is the open market operations. And remember how many times a year that they meet. So it's at least 8, it can be more. And then this one is just the opposite, so it's raise the discount rate. Okay, that's it. That's all you gotta do. See how it says saved? You should say the same thing. So you click this button, click Google Drive, export, click OK. Don't forget when you come back here, you need to refresh this page, your review assignment. It's important. This is an important part to do because I still have people occasionally turning things in that this is blank. Well, to me that means you didn't do it. And then click turn in. And that's it. All right, thanks guys.